Hi, and welcome to another episode of Cooking Matters live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. We will be making Lee's lentil veggie soup. Yum. I know it's kind of warm right now, but once we're done with this dish and we're ready for dinner, it's going to be awesome with this weather because it is going to be cold. So let me wash my hands so we can get started. Soap and water. Making sure I'm making my bubbles. I am happy and sad. Happy because you're here with me and we're cooking. Sad because this is our last episode of 2020. You didn't remember that, did you? All right, so we have our lentils. And I'm going to cook the whole packet. So I'm going to open it and then rinse it. Sorry, I don't want you to hear me breathing. I heard myself breathe. So I lowered my mic. There you go. Let's go ahead and rinse and wash. Make sure no dirt, no pebbles, no rocks. We want our food to be nice and clean. And I know many people don't like lentils, but hey, let's give it a try. I didn't like lentils at first, but now I do. I found the trick. I personally like them with more liquid than dry, because they're too dry. All right. Let's get some onion and garlic ready. That didn't work out. All right. Cutting it in half. The other half over here. Taking that first outer layer. And we're going to cut them in small pieces. Go ahead and throw this away. Off. There you go. And I'm cutting them small because they're gonna go, they're lentils. And it's for flavor. Oh, once it starts smelling, and it smells so good in here. So I'm cutting my half an onion small. You can use less onion, it's up to you. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this knife. By the way, Christmas present from my husband, this awesome knife. So smooth. Thanks, babe. Now I'm cutting the other way. Just making sure that everything's nice and small. I don't want big chunks of onion. My lentils. So everything nice and small. You can always go back and cut. It's not always precise and exact the first time around. So if you see chunks, now I'm going back and cutting those again. And the reason I'm using half of the onion is because I'm using the whole pack of lentils. So if you're gonna make less, then obviously less onion. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on our pot back here. And it's this one right here. I'm gonna wait for the water to absorb a little bit. Then we're gonna add a little bit of oil. And then our onion. And while that's heating up, let me go ahead and start cutting our garlic. 2 garlic cloves. Let me go ahead and rinse my hands. And then I put them flat. A little bump there. the garlic comes the skin right off. Okay, my pot is heating. Tips off. Alright. See how they're big the first time around? Now you go back and cut them smaller. Just be careful with your fingers. Keep moving your fingers. Clean the knife again. Then going back again. Clean the knife again. See how they're getting smaller each time I go? There you go. All right. You get some paper towels. My pot is hot and ready to go. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of oil. I lowered the flame just so it wouldn't sizzle a lot or jump at me. All right. Let's go ahead and put the onion first. Oh, can you hear that? It's gonna start smelling so good in a couple of minutes. We're gonna let our onion cook for a little bit, get a little bit brown. And we're just letting it mix with the oil. And this is a strong onion. So we have our onion and our garlic in here. Meanwhile, let me go ahead and wash my 2 carrots and my 2 celery sticks. And again, you can leave the skin on the carrots and the veins on the celery or opt to take them out. It's up to you. There you go. I'll put them on the side. I'll the garlic in a minute. Alright, now in goes the garlic. And we're going to put our lentils in. They should be a little bit more dry. Make sure we get everything. I'm just moving everything around gently. Let me dry my hands. And we're only going to let it cook for a couple of minutes because we're going to add our liquid. Broth with 30% left. You can use vegetable broth, you can use any other broth, or even water. Alright, so it's been like a minute or so. We have our onion and our garlic with the lentils. Alright, let's go ahead and add our liquid. And this is 48 ounces. And we're going to let the lentils start cooking in the broth. My lentils are covered, but I am going to add a second one. This one is 32 ounces. Let me do one of this small one. Because remember, it is going to consume, so if we need more liquid, we have more liquid. And we're going to add vegetables as well. Alright. And let's go ahead and add a bay leaf. Alright. Let's turn up the heat. And I put the lid on, but a little bit of an opening so it has the air can flow. Wash my hands one more time, and then we can start cooking and cutting, or cutting and cooking, that's the correct order, our carrots and celery that are going to go in our lentil soup, okay? I'm going to cut the carrots first because they're the ones that take a little bit more time. And I'm going to leave the skin on. Just make sure I really washed really well my carrots. And I'm just going to cut even the little circles, at least this part. Maybe this is the part where the kids can help you out and cut, right? Always with adult supervision. I don't even feel I'm cutting a carrot, so cuts so easily through. So what I like to do is kind of have all my vegetables around the same size, especially because it's easier to cook. So it's getting a little bit bigger on this side, so I'm going to cut them into half moons. Kind of to have the same size. So it all depends on you and how you're cutting. There goes carrots flying. Just make sure you're cutting around the same size. Let's see how the lentils are doing. They're warming up. Then I'll cut this one in half. The same, the bottom part is usually the smallest. The second half, the top part is starts getting bigger and thicker, so that's why I like to cut them in half. There you go. And half moons again. go ahead and turn on my pan. So we're going to cook our carrots for a little bit. Then put them in our lentils. And you can also add sweet potato, you can add potatoes, other vegetables, peas, but usually carrots and celery are the vegetables that go together. Alright. I always take the pan and do it away from the heat. Put our carrots in. Try not to make a mess.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We're just going to cook lightly. Meanwhile, let's get our celery. Just taking off the tips, the ends. And I'll cut the bottom part of the celery in half just to make it smaller. So it's kind of the same length as the other part of the celery. Let's go ahead and move our carrots around. Smelling good. Let's keep cutting the celery. Let's check our lentils. All right, they're in a soft boil. Once we have the carrots, we'll put them with our lentils. The carrots are giving out like a sweet smell. It's really good. One in half, just towards the end. Let's move our carrots around. Oh, the carrot just reminded me of a carrot cake. The sweetness of the carrot that's releasing right now.
Maybe you can make that on your next show.
Hmm?
You can make that on your next show.
The carrot cake? Smells so good. Let's continue cutting our celery. And then we're going to do the same that we're doing with the carrots. We're going to do it with the celery. eat them like this. And you can always cook your vegetables with the lentils like we did earlier, the garlic and the onion. Or you can do a separate step like this. Doesn't matter. It's all going in the same pot. And then in here. All right. Go ahead and pause that. We're going to bring it over. I'm going to drop them in the corner of the pan because it's boiling. We don't want any splashes with the hot broth. Back in there. Put a little bit of more cooking spray. Now ready for our celery. And same thing, we're just going to cook them for a little bit. Just to release the aroma, the juices. We're start smelling them in a minute. I can smell it. And since all the celery that we just cut is kind of around the same size, they're going to cook around the same time. And we're not waiting for them to burn or to get dark or toast. It's just to release the juices, the aroma. To cook it halfway or a little bit. Because it's going to finish cooking with the lentils. I can smell the celery now. I don't know if you noticed, but it changed color to a lighter green, and it's a little bit more translucent. The white part. See, when it's raw, you can see the green and then the white, or the white on the inside, but once it's cooked, it all gets like a deeper green. All right. It's perfect. The right color, the right consistency. All right. Go ahead and pause that. I'm going to plug it because we're done. And again, the same thing. Let me change spoons. This one grabs better. Putting the vegetables in the corner, around the edge, little by little. Just be careful, we don't want you to burn or have an accident. ahead and add our seasoning, our salt. 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon or salt or any other seasoning that you prefer. And as you can see, I need to go get more. 1 teaspoon. Go ahead and grab a spoon to see if that's enough salt or if we need to add more. Go ahead and try some. Second one is needed. That's why it's always important to try your food and always add salt little by little. As you can tell, I didn't use salt for anything until right now. We don't want our food to be salty because then it's almost impossible to unsalt your food. Plus, we shouldn't be using that much salt anyways. That was half a teaspoon. Let me add the other half. There you go. Okay. Go ahead and mix it. Go ahead and try it again and see if we're good in salt. Perfect. All right. Now, how to know if the lentils are done? Easy. Just like the beans, they break open. And our carrots and celery are almost done. Let me go ahead and cut the garnish because it is soup. So we need some lime juice. Some limon. Go ahead and rinse the knife because we're cutting the lime and then ready for dinner. Little lime wedges. Should be enough. And our lentil soup is ready. I didn't put a lot of broth so you're able to see the vegetables and the lentils. A little squirt of lime juice. And there you have it. Lee's lentil veggie soup. You can add your own vegetables, you can add potato, you can add sweet potato. This was nice, fun, simple, and hearty. recipe. Thank you so much for joining us on our last episode of the year. But don't worry, we'll be back next year, January 5th. We will be making meatball soup, albondigas. We're still this nice chilly weather, so more soups and stews on the way, okay? All right, so we're gonna clean up and get ready to watch Richard. He comes up at 4. So please go ahead and join us and let us know if you like this recipe. If you have any suggestions of future recipes that you would like to see or you want to learn about, let us know and we can add it to the menu. All right, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year. See you next year. Bye, guys.